What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2025 Honda Civic Sport alongside the 2025 Toyota Corolla SE. Both of these cars are $27,000, non-hybrids. Shout out to Flo Honda and Toyota of Statesville for providing both of these compacts for today's video. But let's get right into what is the better compact car, the Honda Civic or the Toyota Corolla? Let's get right into it. Moving on to the powertrain with each of these cars, the 2025 Toyota Corolla is going to utilize a naturally aspirated 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine. This has 169 horsepower with 151 pound-feet of torque. Features a CVT transmission, front-wheel drive, curb weight is 3,100 pounds, has a 13.2 gallon fuel tank, and you're looking at 31 mpg in the city with 40 out on the highway, and it has a wheelbase of 106.3 inches. For the Honda Civic, this has a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine with 150 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque. It is front-wheel drive with a CVT. Curb weight is 2,900 pounds. It runs on a 12.4 gallon fuel tank, and you're looking at 31 mpg in the city with 39 on the highway, and it has a wheelbase of 107.7 inches. Now for exterior styling, of course this is super subjective. The Corolla's got a pretty bold appearance with a large front grille. You're gonna also have this gloss gray color throughout it. So nice to see the more premium paint for the front end. Definitely has a bold appearance. The Civic isn't quite as bold. You're gonna get a little bit more plastic material for the front end. However, still of course a really good looking compact car, especially both being sub 30 grand. Now for the Civic's side profile, has pretty good proportions, looks like just a normal looking sedan. I think the Corolla is a little more compact, even though it's only an inch or so shorter. It does look a little more compact with just the styling, a little bit more curves to it. Sporty looking rear end with a large diffuser, nice design connecting the taillights. You're gonna get halogen bulbs back here, same for the Civic. Civic a little bit more sharper lines, and then a cleaner lower end with that body color. But again, both I think look good for what they are. I don't think there's a clear winner. Can't go wrong with either. Onto the interior with the 2025 Toyota Corolla. You're gonna see a cool plastic type material for the dash and doors, finished in a white color. You're also gonna get some more of that synthetic material and plastic along the door panels. This just has a basic fabric interior for the seating surfaces. It's more of a rougher, durable style cloth. In the center, we have a little bit of storage, your shifter, there are some drive modes and storage. Climate controls are physical dials all right here, and then the screen is what you're going to see on every Toyota. It's a pretty simple design overall. However, you're going to have basically everything you're going to need with settings and things like that. We have a backup camera, of course, with pretty good HD graphics as well as guidelines, and then the gauge cluster has analog as well as digital. So you can scroll through the center screen, see some of the basics going left and right as well. Nice design on the steering wheel with leather wrap in black. Not a bad design overall. It's very simple, easy to use. Just a basic headliner, and then not that bad overall. Moving on to the 2025 Honda Civic, you're also going to get some plastic along the dashboard and doors. It is a soft touch material like in the Toyota. You have some fabric for the insert of the door, some cool mesh design and gloss trim throughout the center. And then these seats are also going to be finished in fabric, a little bit softer fabric with a synthetic leather material for the side. So that is a nice upgrade, I would say, for the Civic. Pretty similar look all around, basic headliner as well as the rear view. And then this is Honda's simple screen. So pretty simple regardless of which car you go with, just all your basics basically. In reverse, you got a nice backup camera as well with good graphics. You can also adjust this one to see a few different views. Gauge cluster does have an LCD screen. You're able to configure a little bit and see some nice things all throughout it. So that is a cool touch to have a little bit larger screen. You have a nice black leather wrapped steering wheel with all of your controls, of course. So I think the Civic's interior might be just a little bit nicer. Nice use of storage, of course drive modes as well with some textured plastic. So not bad, very similar overall, but maybe a little bit nicer seats in the Honda. Hopping into the backseat with the Toyota Corolla. So I'm 5'11" sitting here. My head almost touches the headliner, but not quite. I'm at a decent recline. This is definitely pretty close to my face here. Seat at my height, I got about an inch of knee room. There are 2 USB ports. We also have an armrest and some storage in the center. It's definitely a compact car feeling back here, but overall it seems roomy enough for what it is. On the small side with no air vents, but good armrest on the left side and a decent recline in the back. A little on the straight up side, but not bad for a compact. Onto the Honda Civic sitting back here. So this one I do have a little bit more headroom. This doesn't feel as confined, and with the driver's seat at my height, once again, I have probably 3 or 4 inches of legroom now. There are no USB ports at all. You do, however, get the cup holders and armrests in the center, and once again, like the front seats, you get this nice synthetic leather material lining half of the seats with the fabric. This does feel like a more comfortable seat. You just miss out on those plugs. So I think point goes to the back seat of this car. Now moving on to the trunk space, you're going to get 14.8 cubic feet of volume in the trunk of the Civic and 13.1 cubic feet in the Toyota Corolla. So as you can tell, a little bit smaller in this car, however, still pretty roomy. With the seats folded flat, you can see there is a little bit of a lip to get in there. However, the seat backs are nice and flat, which is a good touch. The only way to fold these down, there's a button by the headrest you're going to press from in here to release that. If we take a look over at the Honda Civic, there is going to be these latches that are always there. They're going to fold nearly flat with maybe less of a bump into the trunk. So this still is a little bit more roomy, and you're also going to get these pull tabs from back here to go ahead and open it. So a little bit more space in the Civic, but you're going to get those metal pieces in the way. So setting off now in the Honda Civic. So we have a little bit less power, but we also have a little bit less weight. Same MPG basically for each car. So it'll be interesting how this car drives. But getting up and going slowly, I feel like the seating position is pretty good. The seat itself is actually really comfortable. Good view around with good visibility overall. Armrests are in a great place. You know, at my height, I can sit here nice. My legs have good room. Really no complaints for just like daily driving, point A to point B driving. Going 40 doesn't really seem all that loud at the current moment. Let's try a 3-point turn. See how maneuverable this car is. Obviously, these are small compacts in general. Just got a little bit longer wheelbase than this. But backup camera is pretty HD. You can very easily see everything. And I can about do that, barely touching the side. So getting up to some speed again. I'd say the CVT is pretty smooth. You don't really feel that. Going a little faster, you can hear some tire noise for sure. I mean, it's obviously no BMW or Audi, obviously. So you're gonna get a little bit of road noise in this. I don't really hear any wind noise though. Just definitely road noise, and I'm only going 45 miles an hour. So highway, you're gonna hear just a little bit of the wheels and tires and things like that. Overall though, it drives fine. You know, when you take turns, you just kind of do a sweep and turn. The steering is really relaxed. There's a good ratio. It seems really seamless. Going left to right. Brakes all do a good job as well. And then using the interior technology, I think the climate laid out perfectly, super easy. This more basic screen, very, very simple. Of course, if you get a higher trim level, you can get a nicer screen in here that will have a little bit more of your typical things you're used to seeing from Honda, which I find to be a very user-friendly interface. And then turning circle, nice and tight. And being a front-wheel drive car, you know, there's not that much power where you're gonna get torque steer or anything like that. If we do play with drive modes, we have a sport normal and an eco, and then we have paddle shifters as well. So we can play with basically programmed gears within the CVT. Certainly not fast at all. And the shifting works though. I mean, if you want to be able to hold a higher rev for better power delivery when you're in some steep roads like the mountains or something, you at least have that ability with this transmission, which is pretty cool. All right, Honda Civic, really can't complain. It drives like a normal car, honestly. It's comfortable enough. A little on the noisy side is my one complaint, I would say. Other than that, for the price point, it seems well appointed, well equipped, and you definitely have plenty of room in here for a compact car. Moving on to the Toyota Corolla now. So there's no paddle shifters, but we can put the shifter into B, which is engine braking, to give you a little bit more RPM and things like that. But if I get up and go in this now, just slowly getting my bearings. So not giving it much throttle, it kind of floored it on its own, it seems. But this does have a little bit more power, which is interesting. So the view out is a lot different. The windshield surround seems a little bit more narrow. So this seems a little more narrow comparing it to the Honda. That seemed a little bit on the wider side. This does feel a little bit more compact just because the doors, the dash kind of are protruding out towards you. But let's test out a 3-point turn. We do have a little bit shorter vehicle here. Backup camera is not quite as sharp, but still plenty HD. And that was actually a lot tighter. Wow, that was pretty nice to see. So now getting up to more speed. it definitely likes to floor it more. I'm only giving it half throttle, and now we're up to speed. So a little interesting how this car seems a little bit more happy to rev. Armrests are in a pretty good place, a little hard on this side, a little wider feeling, I would say, than in the Honda. But the seats are pretty comfortable too. They seem pretty much as well padded. And then I don't hear any wind noise, but the road noise is basically the same. We're going 45. You definitely hear it a little bit. I might say this actually feels just a little quieter, I'm gonna say. So Corolla just feels a little quieter. Not bad for the steering, seems pretty smooth and effortless. Maybe a little bit more body roll in this, so maybe the suspension is just a tad softer in this car. Maybe that's why it's slightly quieter. Brakes all do a good job. And then the visibility, view out and everything isn't really all too crazy. And then turning into here, turning circle on this is a little tighter. So a very easy car to just maneuver around and things like that. And then getting up to speed again, if we keep it in B, actually we can go into sport mode as well. So this definitely is more rev happy. I'm not even trying to floor it, and it's definitely a little bit more revvy, I would say. The drive modes don't really do much in either car. They just kind of give you a little bit more throttle response to make it a little bit more zippy when you're in the mountain driving and things like that. Climate controls, you have a little bit smaller toggles here, but all very simple with an LCD screen with your typical buttons. Then the screen here is pretty basic, but this is what you get on all the Toyotas. So it still looks nice though with good graphics. All right, these are definitely competitive cars. I mean, this is a very competitive segment. Every car company makes a compact for sub 30 grand. And of course, Toyota and Honda are probably the top two brands to go with in terms of reliability and resale. But driving characteristics are very similar. I don't know if you really notice a difference in power between the two, given these are not fast cars in general. But not bad for a test drive. So after driving in the 2025 Honda Civic back-to-back with the 2025 Toyota Corolla, I don't think there's a clear winner. This is such a competitive class of cars. You know, automakers are making affordable point A to point B cars, so they're not going to put crazy amounts of things in them to make them above and beyond. I think they're both fantastic options though for sub 30 grand. I like the front end design of the Toyota better. I think it looks a little bit more sharp. However, I like the side profile and the rear design of the Honda Civic better. I think it makes it look a little bit more substantial in size. This looks like a compact from the back and from the side. I think the Honda's interior is more open. I felt more roomy in it. A little bit better use of materials as well. Just laid out, I think, in a little bit more grown-up fashion. The Toyota was fine, just seemed a little compact on the interior and a little bit more old school. However, I think the Toyota had a better ride. It was a little bit quieter on the inside, slightly softer, I think, in the suspension. Honda's was perfectly fine, but it did noticeably feel and sound a bit more noisy as far as road noise goes. Also, I like the Honda's transmission better. I think it was much smoother. The Toyota kept revving really high when I gave it barely any throttle. And you also get a little bit better backseat space as well as trunk space in the Civic. So there you guys go, comparing the 2025 Civic to the Corolla. Comment down below which one are you going for a sub $30,000 compact sedan. Comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts on which one you guys think is the better choice. To me, honestly, I'd say it's 50-50. Base this off of price. What's the better deal you're gonna find between Honda and Toyota? With that said, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.